Alright guys, it's Chatterbox Reviews, coming at you guys with The Walking Dead, Season 8, Episode 2, Review. Alright, so this episode, I actually really enjoyed it. I thought it was actually better than last week's episode, the premiere, episode 100. Lots of action, tons of character development. Yeah, some great stuff that we saw in this episode. Some great techniques used as well that I enjoyed. And Morales is back. So crazy stuff there, of course, for us hardcore Walking Dead fans. I don't know. I shouldn't call myself hardcore, but I'd say I'm a pretty big fan. But I kind of knew about this a little bit. That it was maybe coming. So yeah, really still a surprise though. Very interesting scene there at the end, but I'm gonna get to that, of course. So yeah, here to do the little bit of a quick recap here. This video shouldn't be too long this week. And then a rating, favorite character, and some overall thoughts. So yeah, really happy I can get this one out, pretty, tonight yet, after the episode here, and then hopefully the Deuce review can be out tomorrow, because that's a big finale tonight as well. So yeah, anyways, let's get into this recap of episode 2 of season 8, The Damned. So, so we start with the episode, we resume, with, we see these, like, flashes of characters' faces on screen. So I think we see Carol, Morgan, just the typical, stars of the show, Jesus, I think, Tara. So we see, all these characters sort of flashing on screen here. And, this kind of shows the different situations they're all in. They're kind of spread out here, but they're all kind of going for one common goal. I thought it was a great way to start off the episode. Created some mystery as well, because you weren't sure exactly what was going on. But yeah, I thought it was a great effect to use. And then also, they show that, the flash of the faces again at the end of the episode to close it out. And these are like different scenes with the faces, like where they're in different situations again. So that was a great effect that they could use that in the beginning and then came back to it at the end. Thought that was great. Some good foreshadowing as well in the beginning there for that. And so I really enjoyed that to start off the episode. And then we get into sort of the main part of this. So the main part is I would say I think there's 4 groups, but there may be 3. I'm not sure if Rick and Daryl are part of one of these 3. But basically, we have 3 or 4 different kind of stories and groups that are going into these bases, or these outposts, I guess you can say, to kill the saviors and slowly take over these outposts from them, right? So first we have Carol, Ezekiel, and the Kingdom group. They seem that they were all from the Kingdom only. They weren't actually part of any other group like some of the other people are. But yeah, basically they kill all the walkers that were set off by the guy they met last episode. So at the very end, he threw sort of like a smoke bomb, and then all these walkers came out and tried to attack them. So they take care of those finally. But that this guy was actually shot. So they find out, that he's still bleeding, so they move on and kind of, chase him, kind of at a slow distance, right, or not like a long distance, right, because they know he's quite a far ways ahead, and yeah, basically he's leading them, to the outpost, right, that they're trying to find. So that's also why they're kind of following him there, so that he'll lead them there. And yeah, I thought it was a great scene towards the end of this storyline for this group, where Shiva comes out of nowhere and just kills the guy, who of course said they're following to the outpost here. So yeah, definitely a cool scene there. And Shiva, I mean, every scene where she comes in and attacks someone has just been awesome, especially the finale for season 7. So yeah, for sure. And then there's also some powerful parts in there with Ezekiel and Carol too, kind of Ezekiel saying, fake it till you make it, sort of thing. And we saw this again with the well episode in season 7, where Carol and Ezekiel are kind of getting closer together, and Ezekiel's kind of opening up to her a little bit and saying, I'm not really a king, like I just do all this fictional stuff to get people to follow me and stuff. And he was just a zookeeper with a tiger, right? just circumstance happened, and he ended up being this king of the kingdom. So yeah, for sure, interesting thing there, where he's, I still smile, even though I know we're gonna lose people and stuff, because I gotta be there for the people, and that's just really a great leader, for sure, there with Ezekiel. And then also then at the very end, after Shiva attacks the guy, we learn that they do know that the kingdom people are coming. Jerry hears it on the radio there. So Ezekiel, not worried at all. He tells them, okay, we trek forward, which is, very heroic. And I think that's what they need to do at this point. They need to have, they just need to get all these saviors, and they don't have time to retreat, like Ezekiel said. So I really agree with that, for sure. But we'll have to see what happens to that group next episode. I think that's going to be a big part of it. So we'll have to see what happens there, and if they lose some people, maybe even some main characters, we'll have to see. So then this group was sort of the biggest group, I would say, of the episode. It was Morgan, Jesus, Tara, and some others. Mainly, I think, from the kingdom, I think, and the hilltop. Not many survivors. I think those were, like, the only main, survivors from the Alexandria group. But yeah, basically, they go to the satellite post. And yeah, it's the same one that we saw in episode 12 of season 6, not tomorrow yet, if you remember that, where they went in and basically, ruthlessly killed every single person in the satellite building. And of course, at that point, they thought that was all the saviors. Looking back, pretty crazy. But yeah, for sure. So, quite a while ago, of course, and now we're here, and they're going back to the same outpost. So, of course, it's been repopulated since then. So great action scenes in this, from this group. Very suspenseful scenes as well. Yeah, really great scenes with Morgan, in the hallways, and I forget the name of that woman who's the Kingdom girl, the archer. Forget her name right now, but she had some great parts in this as well, kind of being a leader for the group. And yeah. So we saw that Jesus and Tara confrontation with that savior, the one that, he said, it was really hard to, fake piss your pants or whatever. That guy, that's hiding in the closet. And yeah, I was really pissed at Jesus in the situation, because he should have just let Tara kill him right away. And a lot of difficult stuff happened because he didn't let her do that. But yeah, it was a very, brave moment from Jesus. He's at gunpoint here by the savior, and he's able to, elbow him back and kind of get him off of him and subdue him, luckily. But he decides to leave him alive and ties him up instead of killing him, even after this guy, had a gun to Jesus' head and was threatening him and Tara. So, yeah, we're definitely seeing that aspect from Jesus at this point, for sure. And, yeah, in this episode, I think he says it to Tara here and also to Morgan a little bit later, and he says, that's not what we do. But I don't know. I just don't agree with Jesus in this situation. I think it's going to come to bite them in the butt, at the end of the day here, leaving these saviors alive, especially, that guy. I feel like this show always does that, and I feel like that guy's going to come back and kill someone that they know. Something like that's going to happen. But anyways, that happens. And then, of course, this was, probably my favorite part of the episode, maybe. Morgan, he gets shot down by some saviors in that room there, along with Freddy and Andy. Yeah, so Freddy and Andy are dead. They get shot, and they actually, kind of bleed out there on the floor. But Morgan actually survives because of his chest armor, I guess. He kind of got shot in the chest, and it may have, ricocheted off. Or, maybe it's like a bulletproof vest, right? It, kind of hits you, and you still feel the effects, but, it doesn't go through, and you don't die. So yeah, he survives, luckily. We all knew he was going to, but yeah, so he gets up, and an important quote as well, he says at the very beginning of the episode, and it really shows in this episode, "I don't die," he says. So very, very impactful, right? Because that's just sort of what controls his whole, mind in this episode. And then it was just awesome. An insane killing spree Morgan goes on. And my question is he back to his, clear kind of days here? It looked like it a little bit. He got up, took 2 guns, and shot every, single person in sight. And it was just awesome, man. He knew when they were coming out, before they could even, see him or knew that what was happening, they were dead. Great episode there where he's just walking down the halls and killing every single person, and very, very brave as well. But yeah, that's kind of what I'm wondering. Is he kind of going back towards that kind of self, or is he, just doing this because his friends died and he's kind of looking for revenge? I don't know. Then we see group, the group finds the back exit of the place and kind of gets there before the other saviors, and yeah, makes the saviors surrender then when they come out of the exit, and lets them live instead of killing them as soon as possible, right? Like, killing them as soon as possible, which again I don't agree with. And Jesus kind of gives the orders again. Jesus, man, like it's kind of funny, but anyways, yeah, Morgan then comes back and comes back to see the group, having these saviors surrendered, sorry, and Jesus stops him from killing that long-haired guy. I don't remember his name, but man, this guy. If there was just one person in that group that deserved to die, it was this guy. And friggin' Jesus stopped Morgan from killing him. Oh, I mean, we have to see his death soon, don't we? I mean, I'm gonna be really pissed if like somehow he starts, gets away and kills more people. Gonna be pissed. But anyways, I'm just thinking, screw you, Jesus. Like, let Morgan kill this guy. But anyways, so I was also kind of expecting like Morgan to go off all of a sudden and just start like shooting all of these saviors that are surrendered, but we didn't see that. I would have liked to be honest. But yeah, it would have been maybe a little extreme. But anyways, yeah, for sure, great scenes with that group there. Very big part of this episode, and I really like the Morgan part as well. So then we see the next sort of group is Aaron, Eric, Aaron's boyfriend, Tobin, and some others. Not like any big stars in the show, actually. Just sort of the minor characters so far. And they actually have a big gun battle with a different outpost group, the Savior group. And yeah, very interesting battle. Very, a lot of action. The battle is, going well at the beginning. But then the group kind of loses some, momentum and people, right? Francine, the woman dies, who Eric's close with, and a few others are getting shot down. So the Savior group is kind of moving in on them, and Tobin and Eric both get shot. So Tobin, it looks like he'll be fine. It was just in the shoulder, but Eric, got shot somewhere in the chest area. So I don't know about him. And then kind of Aaron, comforts Eric a little bit, tries to get him to safety. Will he survive? I don't know. It didn't look good, to be honest, but we'll have to see. I don't know. I hope he survives, of course, for Aaron's sake. But yeah, I don't know. We'll have to see next episode. But Aaron's doing his best to get him to safety. Thank God. And then the Savior leader, Mara, gets eaten by a walker there by basically her own people. Very satisfying scene there. She just seemed like a bitch overall, even to her own workers there. And yeah, so she kind of meets her demise in a good way, and she gets eaten by a walker alive. Kind of takes a big chunk out of her neck. That was really gross. But yeah, so some great payback there for her, I guess. And yeah, so she basically dies. So that I would say that's basically the end of that Savior group. I feel like they're basically defeated at this point. And then also we saw that great scene where Aaron, kind of throws the car in reverse and just runs over Saviors in the car to save Eric. Actually, this was before Eric gets shot, of course. But that was a great scene. That was kind of a highlight out of that, group's part in this episode. Thought that was awesome. Just like really cool to see Aaron, he puts down the gun and we're like, what is he doing? And he gets in the car and just reverses. You see the guys going over the windshield. But anyways, kind of funny, but both, and very, very impactful. So yeah, great scene there. I really like that from Aaron. I thought he actually had some good screen time in this episode and did some good things, which we haven't seen much of him lately. So, yeah, pretty cool there. And again, very action-based scenes there with that group as well. Some great stuff there. So then Rick and Daryl. So this was a big part of the episode too. Rick actually got a lot of screen time. Daryl not so much, but he was there. So they go to another outpost. So this is my question here. I'm not sure if they go to a different outpost than the already three groups mentioned, or are they at the same one that Aaron and Tobin and Eric are at, or are they at the same one that maybe Carol and Ezekiel in the kingdom? I don't know. I'm not sure exactly what outpost they're at, but they're at one of them. And basically their job is they're trying to find the stash of guns that they have up, in the building while the others fight. So I think it is the one that Aaron and Eric and Tobin are at. I think that one makes the most sense. But basically they go upstairs to find them because they figure, they put the guns in the highest area. And Daryl and Rick split up to try to find these guns, and that's kind of where Daryl's, his part in the episode kind of ends. I mean, they show one scene of him, kind of finding a room, and that's basically it. He's kind of done for the episode. So then it kind of focuses on Rick after that. And then Rick finds this man, suffocates him by choking him out. That was a great fight scene there from Rick. Just a classic scene there, Rick winning and suffocating him. And the thing that I thought of right away was that scene with the Claimers, Joe and the Claimers back in, what was that? Season 5, I think? Yeah, Season 5 or Season 4. Where he, suffocated the guy in the bathroom, if you guys remember that. But anyways, yeah, that was a great fight scene there. But then afterwards, he kills this guy. He finds his baby in the crib there in the room, and that's a really tough moment, right? Very powerful moment for Rick, though, as well, because he has a baby daughter, right? Or I guess not a baby, but a really young daughter. And obviously, this is sort of where, the morality comes, back to Rick. He's a ruthless guy. He's trying to kill all these saviors, get to Negan. And this baby is kind of, pauses that whole thing and just makes him step back for a minute and kind of think a little bit more about what he's doing. So, of course, he then looks in the mirror then in that scene where, he sees his baby in the crib. And I'm not exactly sure. Like, I guess he left the baby there. I don't know. I guess that's the decision he made. I was thinking maybe that he was even maybe gonna kill the baby. I thought it'd be too far for Rick. I know, but and obviously he didn't. But I thought he was kind of thinking about it. Maybe that is what he was thinking about, either leaving it or killing it. I don't know. But I think he could have taken it with him. I mean, why couldn't he? Like, I mean, bring it back to Alexandria. They probably have supplies there that they could raise it, but. Anyways, yeah, just a tough moral decision there. Kind of slowed things down for Rick. Really, put him kind of in a place where he kind of has to reflect upon himself there. And yeah, so then he goes on to the next room. Kind of sees what's happening. It's another bedroom. And he pulls out this picture from the mirror, and he kind of looks at it a little bit weirdly. And suddenly, then a man comes up behind him and holds him at gunpoint. And it's Morales, man. It's Morales from Atlanta. And Rick's like, you were in Atlanta. And, he says, Rick, they recognize each other. Crazy, crazy stuff. For you guys who don't remember, he was in Season 1. He left the show in Episode 5. And he's now back in Episode 101. So, crazy stuff. 96 episodes he was away for, and now he's back. Like, it's just insane. It's the same actor, of course, too. He does look quite a bit different, though, I will say. I mean, if you're not a really big fan and you didn't know the whole Morales thing, I don't think you would have recognized him at all. That's maybe a criticism, but anyways, he's back, man. Morales is back, but he's a bad guy, sadly, right? I mean, all of us probably would have wanted to see him be a good guy and kind of join Rick in this group, but he ends up he is a savior, and looks like he's a pretty high up savior too in this group. So yeah, we'll have to see. He's going to be an enemy instead of a friend. But yeah, so he's back. But the thing is, then he says, he holds Rick at gunpoint. He says he called the other saviors. It's over. And, yeah, basically, it's over for Rick and his group, and the saviors are coming, and, they're gonna bring guns, and it's gonna be a battle. So, I mean, crazy stuff, right? And then he cocks back the gun, and the episode kind of fades out and ends. So, great suspenseful ending here. And then also in this moment, we see the flashes of the faces again, with Rick kind of, being held at gunpoint here. So, crazy ending the episode, very mysterious, very suspenseful. Great stuff for next week as well, leading to it, and we'll have to see what happens with Rick here, being held by Morales right now. So crazy stuff here. Morales is back, man. I can't believe it. People have been joking about that every time we see a glimpse of like a new character coming or something. Like we saw the Boots in Season 7, and for the Junkyard group, everyone thought that was Morales. Like, anyway, so this is crazy that he's actually back. But yeah, so now I guess my ratings, some thoughts, and a favorite character. So my rating for this episode is going to be a 4.7 out of 5. Yeah, I mean, better than last week for sure. Not a world's better, but yeah, definitely better. I just really like this action more. I did like the parts with Negan for sure. But yeah, I do like the action a little bit more. So my major criticism of this season, and even maybe the last half of last season, I don't know, man. It's so many characters, not enough screen time. That's just my philosophy here. They have so many new characters. Like, we haven't seen Michonne. This episode we didn't see Michonne, Carl, uh, you know, um, uh, you know, uh, Christian Serratos. Um, all right, I'll come back to that. Rosita, yeah, of course. Like I don't know, I kind of blanked there. Rosita, I mean, we didn't see Gabriel and Negan this episode. What's gonna happen with them in the trailer? I mean, that was a big suspenseful ending last week. And who else did we not see? Yeah, like we didn't see a lot of characters this episode, and I feel like that's just going to be the norm for the rest of this season. I mean, there's just way too many that they've introduced us to, and I think that's something that the writers have done wrong here. The creators have done wrong. I think they actually introduced too many characters at this point, and it's just not enough screen time. A casual viewer that's going to tune in is not going to be able to recognize all these characters and keep track of everything. So I don't know. I think that's a real problem for them right now. And I think that's also a problem as well. All these groups got limited screen time. And, in past seasons, season 5, season 6 even, these groups, I mean, just one of these groups, like Morgan, Jesus, and Tara, that would be a whole episode in season 6 or 7. Season 5 or 6. But now, I mean, they get, what, maybe they got 12 minutes this episode, max. So, yeah, crazy stuff there. And I think that is a serious problem going forward. But I do like so many characters. I feel like it's really diverse. But I don't know. I just think it's too many at this point, for viewers to keep track of and stuff. Lots of action this episode. Great. That was a really good positive. Compared to last week, there wasn't a lot of action, but there was some good parts as well that were action-based. But yeah, lots of action. The gun battle this episode was crazy. The whole part with Morgan and Jesus and Tara, raiding the satellite place. That was great. Great ending as well with Morales as well. Very, very suspenseful ending to everything, really. Eric, being shot, the kingdom kind of going in on this, Rick being held at gunpoint. So, for sure, a lot of stuff happening there. And Morales is back, of course. That adds to the rating that he's finally back 96 episodes later, and he's here. I thought it was a great spotlight for Morgan this episode as well. Probably my favorite part of the episode. Thought that was really great. Really good positive there. And yeah, like I said, better than last week's episode. I just felt like the action and some more of that stuff just pushed it over the edge and made it a little bit better than last week. If we saw Negan this week, it would probably be maybe close to a 5 out of 5. But yeah, we didn't. I have a feeling that we're not going to see that. Negan and Gabriel play out until like episode 4 or 5. I don't see it happening next week either. So sadly, there's just too many characters right now, and that's why it's a problem for me. And yeah, I think this episode really foreshadows the rest of the season, or at least the rest of the half of the season. I think every episode is going to be like this going forward for a bit here. I think there's going to be battles, won and lost, of course, but got to be a lot of battles fought, a lot of action, a lot of suspense. I think there's going to be some more character reveals. It sounds like Morales is not going to be the only one that, we kind of are surprised about. There's going to be character deaths as well. I think we got the first shot of that with maybe Eric this week. So yeah, for sure, some big stuff, and I think this really is the start of this all-out war that we're supposed to be seeing. And I think it's going to be great. It's going to be a lot of action. You're going to have to keep up with it. And it's going to be tough, but it's going to be awesome to watch, of course. Favorite character for this one is Morgan. Like I said, his parts in this episode were probably my favorite parts. He's played by Lenny James, of course. And Lenny James, great job to him. I mean, he's doing an amazing job with Morgan once again this year. Last episode and this episode, just great already. And yeah, for Lenny James to come back after 3 years, twice actually, season 1 to 3 and then 3 to 6. So 3 years hiatus twice, and now he's kind of a regular again on the show. Crazy stuff there, and just really great to see him being ready and being able to come back and portray this role right away. It's crazy, and that whole scene with Morgan, going on that killing spree is awesome. I love the part where he says, I don't die, and then we kind of see that, and he gets shot, and he gets up and he fights. So really great integration there with that sort of line in there. I thought it was really important for this one. And I liked the part where he went to the guy right away, put that gun to his chest. He was ready to pull the trigger. And, I mean, that's just an awesome scene for us viewers. We hate that guy. We want to see him dead. So, anyways, great episode from Morgan there. All right, that'll just about do it for this video. I think this one is going to be a little bit long. I said short at the beginning, but whatever. I love this show. Favorite show on TV right now. Airing right now, I mean. Yeah, I mean, I just love talking about it. I love doing these reviews, so definitely going to keep doing them. Thank you so much for watching this episode. This episode and this review. Thank you so much for the recent support of my videos. Channel's growing so fast lately. Really, really appreciate it. Just like to give a shout out to my dear friend. His name's Braden. And he loves The Walking Dead as well. And him and I, converse a lot about the show, and he helps me out a little bit with the review notes and stuff. So really, shout out to him for being a great Walking Dead fan and a good friend as well. So for sure. Anyways, so thanks for watching once again, and I'll see you next week for episode 3, season 8 of The Walking Dead.